Our foundation is the organization that supported me as a single mother.
We're going to have a bunch of kids come in who has been collecting funds. TD Bank is going to tally all that up, and we're going to match that.
In our environment, if you don't have discipline, you don't have anything.
How could I not be here to be supportive of a program that I believe has enriched the lives of thousands of children?
With a $2,000 check on behalf of TD Bank to y'all. Bringing change in the community and recognizing those that do so is awesome.
All right. You come to me on 1. Mic 5, camera 1, come to me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Come to me on 2. On 4, camera 4. Tell the camera 4. I was in the control room trying to make a miracle happen, and miracles that catch as catch can. You can zoom in a little bit. It's a little hot back there, but I haven't been good. Today it is my pleasure. You guys don't have to move. Just they can zoom in on me. All right. You want me to move over? All right. Come on. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Follow.
You were sure?
Okay. It's all right. Keep going. Keep going. Center me. Center me. Center me. Center me. Center me. A little more. I'll move over. This way? Okay. All right, good. Today it is my pleasure. We're a little hot back here, but I have a genius back there. I've called him a genius, so he's going to have to fix it. Otherwise, he ain't no genius. Today it is my pleasure to have Our Children's Foundation, members of Our Children's Foundation. I went there. They're on 125th Street between
Amsterdam and Broadway.
Amsterdam and Broadway. And I was literally stunned by the array of things that they have for our children to learn. And it's my honor to have a couple of people here. I'm going to introduce them as soon as I can get out all my belongings. And they're going to tell you about how they started, what the mission of the place is, and some of the programs that they have for young black children to actually exceed and grow with. I think that's very important. I think that we need a 21st century approach to education that we heretofore have not had. That the rest of the world enjoys a 21st century education, and our education system, what we provide for our children, is more akin to the 19th century. And I got nothing against the 19th century, but they didn't have email. So with that, they're going to play my opening. I'll get a little more prepared. Ryan, I'm going to call him by name because I called him a genius. He's going to fix my lights a little bit, but that's not bad. Okay, that's good. You've done good. And we will be back with 30 frames a second, and we're going to talk about Our Children's Foundation in Harlem that are doing tremendous things with our children in the world of education. We'll be back. Whoa, that was a mouthful. Where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy. Make sure my mic is on, he said. Okay, I'm going to look at my mic. My mic is lit, and it's number 5. So, If it ain't working, it's not because of anything I did not do this time. All right, we have two extraordinary people from our Children's Foundation. I'm a little unprepared, so I haven't been able to access Chad's email as quickly as I could. So I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves while they focus the camera on you, and tell us what your positions are. By that time, I'll have my technology working. This is very embarrassing. I got all of these smart people on, and I'm like such a doofus. But tell us your name, what you do at the Children's Foundation, and introduce yourselves, please.
My name is Luis Sanchez. I am currently a parent for our Children's Foundation.
You're a what?
I'm a parent.
Okay.
Of our Children's Foundation. My
All right,
two daughters
gotcha,
go to the foundation,
Oh,
and I
excellent.
was an original member of our Children's Foundation.
My name is Mina Majors, and my two daughters are alumni of our Children's Foundation, and I'm a parent, and I'm still active with our Children's Foundation as an alumni parent.
That's awesome. Now, how old were your daughters when they first started going?
My oldest daughter was, I would say, about 8 or 9 years old. She's a track runner, and she was a track runner. She still kind of run. And my youngest daughter was, she wasn't of age then, but yeah, they were very young when they started.
Like 8 or 10, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And your children, how old were they?
My daughters, both of them started when both of them were 8. I mean, one is
Wow.
19 and the other is 16. Obviously, one was 8 and the other was 11 when they both started the program.
How long did they stay in the program?
Both of my daughters still in the part of the programs.
They're still in
Part of
it,
the program,
16
yes,
and
and
19.
19, absolutely.
And how long did your daughter stay in?
My daughter stayed until, well, until they, I guess I don't want to say maxed out, but until they graduated. My youngest daughter stayed in until she went on to college, and the same thing with my oldest daughter.
Wow,
So they were a product of our Children's Foundation from the elementary school session to junior high to college.
Now, let's get a little more into the physical location of our Children's Foundation and the criterion for getting in there. Sell the place. If I'm a parent, I'm a parent, and I want something better for my child, and I hear about the our Children's Foundation. Where's it located? What do I have to do to get my child in there?
Well, our Children's Foundation is located at 527 West 125th Street between Amsterdam and Broadway. Originally used to be in the corner of 125th in Amsterdam, but the current location was gave us the space for us to provide better activities and basically for us to continue helping the kids in our neighborhood. And if you're a parent that want to come to join our Children's Foundation, especially bring your kids to be a part of our Children's Foundation, basically, you come with your child, you bring proof of age of the child, and first the child will be placed in a waiting list, waiting to get into the program. The kid has to be at least 8 years old. Mm-hmm. If your kid is younger than 8 years old, must have a brother or sister already in the program in order for them to be able to attend to our Children's Foundation. Mm-hmm. So it's not just for kids 8 years old or older, but first you need to have somebody of at least an 8 year older to be a member of our Children's Foundation.
Typically, how long is the wait?
Oh, it can be. It can be because it's located. It's open to not just community residents, but primarily they have first preference. But it's open to community residents. It's open to other people, other residents. Mm-hmm. So it's located between Grant Housing, public housing, and Manhattanville. So the waiting list can be a year. It can be several months, so it can be extensive. So it's very. But if you are patient, your patient will it's worth it because of the program. The program sells itself.
Right.
What it offers sells itself in terms of the education, in terms of the interacting, in terms of just the whole part of our Children's Foundation. It is well worth the wait for that program. The involvement with the children, the interacting, the parent involvement. It is a whole package. So it's not just the children on one set and that's it. You just, it's a babysitting service. Not just a babysitting service. It is a family interacting. It's like, well, that's what we need to get involved in, a family interacting program. And a lot of programs, not a lot of programs, some programs, people look at it as a drop-off service. And our Children Foundation, for me, what attracted me to it, because my children were so involved in track and field, that it wasn't a drop-off service. It was a family-oriented service that allowed me to become involved in a whole package deal. And that really was a selling point, as well as the guests that they invited to the Our Children Foundation. They are speakers, and the whole interacting piece of the Our Children Foundation, the opening and the exposure of the different things of Our Children Foundation. So the waiting list, when you talk about the waiting list, I didn't see it as a waiting list. I saw it as being patient.
Okay. Now we're gonna. I really want to get into the criteria and the things that you have available for young people, because that simply blew my mind. 8 years old. 8 years old is about the second grade, which means that generally you're taking in children that have an initial exposure outside of the parameters of the school itself. That 1 or 2 years is critical. Sometimes it can do irreparable harm to children in terms of what they are dealing with. And now you're going into a situation that is a creative dream per se. You might be coming from a place that is very, very difficult and going into a place where you have unlimited access to your own potential. Was any of that? I know you had 2 children, and you had
2, yes,
and 2. So it might have been a little more pronounced the first time around than the second because you had somebody in there. But tell us about that experience, going directly from the public school system and getting into a place that is, in some ways, nowhere near like some of the public school conditions that exist. Was that a challenge at all?
Well, yeah, it presented a challenge, and I think that's what I like about the program. It was a program that presented me with I think, what especially minority in general need to focus on, especially when it comes to the kids, which is the main thing is their education.
Right.
Understanding that the future of our generation and our future generations lays down basically on the level of education that they get from every place, from school and when they are out of school and when they are home. And that's what our Children's Foundation provides, that bridge between school and home and being the middle person, the person that brings together the school and the family, because that's exactly what that was the main focus, maintaining the family. And by that is that our Children's Foundation brings the kid at the age of 8, because now at that age, the kids is coming to a point in which they have rules, and the kids are going to have to learn how to deal with rules and regulation, because that's what life is, basically with disciplines. And at that age, they are a little more, prepared to deal with those situations than if they start at a much earlier age. And that's the reason I think that's where the 8 years old come into place. Now they've been to school, they somehow have some type of little bit of interaction with other kids within the school system. Now we're able to take them to another level, outside the school, and bridge the school with the outside world and their homes. And that's what our Children's Foundation provides. And when Mina was saying here, it provides for the parents a place where they know the kids are going to be provided with something they can't provide them.
Right.
And that the school cannot provide them.
Right.
And that it doesn't exist in most of the minority communities. And in the places that do exist, it's too expensive for the kids to get to have those type of experience.
I agree totally with you. The price of anything, healthcare, education, anything in America, but especially in New York City, is prohibitive, to say the least. And to provide the kind of programs that they provided our children's foundation is, well, it might not be unprecedented, but I don't know of any other situation exactly like this. And I know, Minor, you are an artist yourself. You know, I think you dance with the Knicks and the New York Liberty.
Yes.
So you had to have, just being an artist, you had to have a real focus on not just academic education, but an education that would allow the potential of a child. I think one of the things is that our children are taught, like, go to school, get education, get a good job. You know, it's no focus to it. It's no ability to dream. And a lot of the stuff that they teach at our children. Well, tell us about some of the classes they have, because that blew me away.
It's, you know, I think one of the other things that attracted me to was the wide spectrum of the classes that were offered. Being an artist, I do look for that, and I did look for that. My children are both runners, and I think I alluded to that before.
Right.
And my beginning in terms of the arts was dance, and it was African dance. I began with Olatunji. And so they have an African dance.
Olatunji.
Olatunji,
All right,
yes. Baba
name
Olatunji.
drop
Yes,
a master.
yes,
Nice.
absolutely. So they have an African dance class, and they had a tap class, and they had a drama class, and they had a regular arts class, and they had a singing class and a choral class, and they had so many different diversities and they were offered there in our children that was like phenomenal. And they had guest artists and guest lecturers there who offered and taught those classes, and I was just amazed that this organization had those people to teach those classes.
Right.
And I just said, this is like amazing. You could go to a private facility and pay a lot of money for those professors and lecturers.
Elite.
Yes, and here we have going to Altoona Foundation, and they are offered for like nothing.
Right.
So
Right.
I just said, you know, this is something that is, as you said, unprecedented.
Right.
President here in this organization, and I just said, this is an organization that I want my children to be involved in.
Right.
And not just to have them there, but I want to be involved in it myself.
Right.
You know, and I think, you know, we talked about it takes, I'm always telling my friends, it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
And it's absolutely correct.
Right.
That we as a community, black, white, Hispanic, Latino, we all need to be involved in terms of raising our children.
Right.
Because it is an investment.
Right.
When you lay a foundation, you build on that. You don't just make the foundation and leave it. Because then the foundation is dormant. You have to build on that. And so that's what Our Children Foundation does. It laid the foundation. It's laying the foundation for us as a community to build on it. And that's what we're doing. And that's what the Our Children Foundation is doing, is building that foundation, and we're still building on it. And so you see our children, as they get older and they're going on out to the world, they're becoming doctors, they're becoming lawyers, they're becoming professors, they're becoming police officers, they're into law enforcement, and they give back, they come back to Our Children Foundation and they give back. That's what Our Children Foundation does for our community. That's what it is.
Absolutely, and then piggybacking what you asked earlier in terms that you were surprised that my daughter's being 19, you know, still in the program. Well, that is the main core of the program. We as minority, basically, we had to understand we cannot just go and tell our kids, you go to school and get a great education, you're gonna have a great job. Well, you can tell that. You can tell people, you could say all you want, but unless we show them how to do it, how to get there, they're not going to get there. And how you do that? By being an example. And that's what our Children's Foundation does. What we do is basically our kids start, like you said, we pick them up from the early elementary school all the way to junior high school, and to college. What we need for those that are in college, not to disappear once they leave high school, because we need them to be the role model for those that we're bringing behind them. So we need them to come back and be there with them so they could see them all the time. Listen, we came out of this program. We going, to Penn State University. I'm going to Fordham University. I'm with a full scholarship, and I came from Harlem. I came from this project across the street. I came exact from 125th Street, 145th Street, because our Children's Foundation is now open just to the kids within 125th Street. We branch kids. We got kids from all over the city. They're kids because once you find out what you get at our Children's Foundation, you as a parent, especially as a parent, you got to do everything within your power to make sure that your kids is part of this program. When you understand the money you have to pay, just for my daughter, for instance, my older daughter plays the guitar, the piano, the drums. How much would I have to pay for me to, for my daughter taking those kind of lessons? Our Children's Foundation, zero. It's totally free. My youngest daughter, she's into African dance and into drama, the drama classes. She loves this. She loves art. How much would I have to pay for that? At our Children's Foundation, totally free. Both of them love to dance. My daughter, my oldest daughter, as in college, she is the line dance teacher. Where did she learn how to teach that class? At our Children's Foundation when she was young. Who used to teach that class? Her father, myself. Now you're keeping me, and I'm coming back. Why? Because it goes from now my daughter and myself and my grandkids are over to be, that's what I'm learning at. They're going to go back there because we're going to continue. Whenever you go to a place and you get positive opportunity, you're going to go back. You're going to continue going. And that's what our Children's Foundation does. You bring your kids, you come as a parent, and what both of you see, what you're going to be able to get from this program, you're going to go back.
Right. And in the process of getting old and being exposed to more and more things, generally very late in my life, I was exposed to all the things that I wish I was exposed to when I was actually in school. I was good academically, but that was not really where my heart was. My heart was in music and art and a lot of things that I just never had access to. And there's a couple of things you said. You talked about money. As I said, in getting out more and doing more things, I have been exposed to different people, especially like rich white folks. And it's not simply a question of money. Rich elites get their children into school where money in and of itself, money is assumed. They almost have to audition for the best schools to prove that they are worthy. In addition to paying a fortune, they have to prove that they are worthy of having their children in these settings. Flash forward to Harlem. And a lot of times, the things that I would see in our children are completely different from what everyone says our children are. I would always see these genius kids with so much potential and no outlet at all. And everyone else saw like potential prisoners, criminals. I mean, they even coined the phrase. There's organizations built around the school to prison pipeline. And then I go to our Children's Foundation, and I see courses not just in music and dance, which is my heart's desire, But as an adult, I understand that you have to function in the world too, no matter what your heart's desire is in terms of making money. And they have classes also in etiquette where you learn which one is the shrimp fork.
That's right.
And they have classes in economics where you learn finance. All of these things make for the total person. So the spiritual, the practical, all of these things are in play. And I've never seen anything like this before.
Well, that's why, because our Children's Foundation is trying to reach to places that most people in our community don't. I don't know if they try, but I know we definitely try. We try to reach to places that most people in our community don't have access to, or don't try to get access to, and bring it to our kids, bring it to our community. Because it's very hard for you to take your kids from your community to take it to other community. It's very difficult. See, it's so much easier for everybody. That's why, like you said, money go over the money. So you have a lot of money. You understand your kids are gonna have to know how to manage that money later on in the future. So what do? You try to put into the best possible school. You try to bring in the best tutors to present them, so they could be out there and be able to sell themselves and be able to prove that they're gonna be able to manage that money. So now our kids, how are they gonna be able to do that if we don't have the money or the resources inside of our community? Well, we have to go out. And the finance, for instance, part of finance, we used to work with Credit Suisse, called now, used to be called CS First Boston, which is one of the largest investment corporations in the world, as a matter of fact. They were able to come and teach us, how finance works. And then in turn, they said, but we could pass this down to the kids. They have to know how to manage money. That's very crucial in what they're going to need to do in the future. And that's how they came about. How they going to want to go to these colleges when they only see the people that look like them are there with full scholarship, but only when they see a basketball game. When they see a baseball game, that's when the only time they see the kids that look like them in TV going to the school. Well, we were able to, go to the school ourselves and reach out to them and have them to come, talk to our kids, talk to us, being able to have access, open the door so we could bring the kids to these schools, so they could see that in those schools we talk about, Harvard, Yale, UPenn, and especially with the basketball school that we see all the time, like we're talking about the Tar Heels, the Blue Devil, North Carolina, now we're bringing the kids to these schools, and they are able to go around the campus and see that there are kids that look just like them, that don't have a basketball, a bat, or a pair of skates, with them all the time.
And just to piggyback on what you're saying for like one brief second, to show you the importance of financial literacy, even if you can dribble a basketball, statistically, basketball players who sometimes make hundreds of millions of dollars go bankrupt within 5 years of retirement.
That's right.
Right.
And I mean, regular people is like, how can you blow $150 million? But the more you have, the more the responsibility of it is for you to learn how to take care of what you have.
That's where the foundation comes. That's why the name of the place, Our Children Foundation, because that's what we try to provide with the kids, with a foundation that's going to be on the broad sense. It's going to provide them a foundation that they're going to be able to go and be able to be successful in all the field. That's why we try. Our Children Foundation is not a place where the kids are going to go and learn how to play basketball, play baseball. No, that's not what that's not our main focus. Our main focus is the education. And we took it all into everything when it comes to finance, because that's how if you look at most of those guys you're talking about that go into pro sport and make hundreds of millions of dollars and then end up bankrupt. most of them, unfortunately, they come from where? From the minority community.
Correct.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why so many of
Correct.
so many of them, when the careers are over, also don't have a second career.
Correct.
Now,
Right. It's the
exactly.
failure of they have not learned economics, they have not learned finance, and they've been shuttled through in right for their athletic ability,
That's right.
so they don't have the educational foundation to even go from one thing to another. So you're right. There's just a total. It's just pimping the skill, but
And that's what they do.
Right.
And that's why they actually out to recently things have started change, but not fast enough, where they were using that against minority player. That's why it was very hard for you to see a minority coach
Right.
in a major pro sport.
She got okay, good. Good.
Until recently.
She got the wrong thing on the monitor. Yeah. So it showed. Yeah. So we're going to get the camera on you instead of like this strange focus shot on me. But it's live TV. I mean, Milton Berle went through the same thing. It's Milton Berle. But I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, what I was my point was that they were using that, for many years they've been using the fact that we come from poor community, and that our level of education in terms of how to
Right.
manage our money, how to hire the right personnel to manage our money against us, and that's the reason why a lot of them basically they saw us as only one thing, as athletes.
Right.
Athlete means that the only thing that we were able to do was use our talents on the court, on the field, but couldn't translate to anything outside that. And that's why it was very hard for you to see any minority to move up into television, radio, into the analyst positions, into president, vice president of any major sport, and coaches. So that's why most of those jobs were always given to basically to those non-minority candidates.
We have another guest, and I'm going to introduce the guest. But I just wanna throw this in as a little caveat to what you were saying, because it's not just about sports and athletes. In point of fact, the entire financial collapse of 2008 was built upon the fact that they were pimping and defrauding
Yes.
people of color
That's right.
in the housing market because we didn't have the sophistication to understand what we were doing. They were actually coming into black churches.
That's
Black churches.
That's it.
And capitalizing on the fact that we as a people were not sophisticated enough in terms of buying houses and mortgages and different types of mortgages. And they did it so much that they bankrupt the entire planet when the whole thing collapsed. So it's not just about athletes.
That's true.
Because if you're just like a human being and you want a family and you want a home, you have to be at least knowledgeable enough about how to not just provide for your family, but make sure that, Beelzebub or whoever you want to call him, is not looking for ways to capitalize on every little peanut that you bring home.
That's right.
But we have another guest. Introduce yourself because my tech went blank on me. And you have a beautiful name, and I'm not going to mess it up.
Okay, I'm Latifah Abdul-Jabbar, and at the foundation, they refer to me as Sister Latifah because I am their sister. And I'm a parent of an alum. She is now 31, and she's in Atlanta. She started when she was 11. So I was an active parent there, and I am now still active there, and I am one of the teachers, and I am teaching financial literacy.
That's why we're smiling.
I am so happy that Mr. Brown asked me to come there because, as you all were just discussing, we're suffering financially. We talk about, I was considered a militant, still am. However, we need to have that economic base.
Right.
And if we don't have
Right.
that, no matter how much we're screaming and yelling,
Right.
if we can't buy property, if we stop being consumers
Correct.
and are the owners, we're going to be winners.
Right.
So I'm teaching my children,
Right, right.
our children at the foundation, about how money actually works. It's not just about saving, but where do you put your money? And
Correct.
what is this thing called interest rate? So
Correct.
they're now looking at banks. I tell them, you go into a bank and you ask them, how much interest rate are you giving?
Correct.
Write it down. We're coming back in and we're
Correct.
talking about it. I'm telling them and showing them how credit cards can kill them. And in our class, we've been doing goal setting. So we've been setting up, I've showed them how to set up a plan and how to work your plan. And a few years ago, I'm so proud, one of our students, Faith, she started in my class. I guess Faith was, oh my gosh, she was not even in middle school, and she continued coming to me. So when she was in middle school, she told me that she wanted to get a higher grade in her writing or English class, one of the English classes. I'm a retired English teacher too. So,
I can
so
tell
we,
I knew you talked about
so we talked about that. We talked about, well, what do you want to do? So we actually set up a game plan so that she can go from the level she was to the next level, and she reached that.
Excellent.
By following how many times she's going to read such and such, what is she going to do when she's at the foundation and homework, what she's going to do. She was so happy. So then she was joining the debate team,
Right.
and she wanted to make that debate team. So
Right.
what do? We pulled together a game plan.
Right.
She followed it, and she became one of the members of that debate team. So it's teaching the children that things that we didn't learn. I grew up in Harlem. No one
Right.
came to my
Right.
mom's door and knocked on the door and said, listen, I want to teach you how money works. I want to show you how to
Right.
set games. We bumped our heads, right? We didn't have a plan. So with the children learning how to set goals and how to hit goals,
Right.
the things that they can do specifically, knowing how money works, know where to put their money, know what questions to ask about money.
Right.
Right. Those things are helping them. And I mean, we need it in our community. We need it so sorely. And for them not to, or whoever the resources are that giving the funds, for them to take it away, it's really sad. So, you know, pulling together and getting this thing going and continuing to have it go is wonderful. You know,
Right,
it's really
right.
wonderful.
I'm so glad that you I'll use a little semantic thing here. You refer to yourself as a militant. I would say more revolutionary. And the fact that you understand literacy both in terms of the ability to speak and write, and you understand literacy when it comes to finance.
Yes.
And my generation, when I was coming up, well, I don't know if it's the whole generation, but I was born in Harlem Hospital, born and raised in Harlem. And anything other than day-to-day survival was not just omitted, it was almost frowned upon, you know. As a matter of fact, you talk about revolutionaries. One of the greatest revolutionary minds that ever existed, W.E.B. Du Bois,
That's right.
shied completely away from economics. I mean, he said, "Don't get involved in that stuff," you know. And we have continually, if there's anything that we have suffered from more than anything else, is the fact that we really don't know how to build and sustain ourselves economically. We don't understand the game, which is the most powerful weapon that has ever been used all throughout the world. It is economics that they use in Africa, it's economics that they use in Latin America, in the Caribbean, it's economics that they use in America. Corporate dollars rule the world, not politicians, not policemen. Corporate money. Economics is the finger that pulls the trigger on everything. And I am so glad that we have come to a place where we are beginning to understand these things and put these things in. I mean, I'm a child of Malcolm, but Malcolm never had an email or a smartphone. It's a different world.
That's right.
You know, we're in the 21st century, not the 19th century. And I appreciate the fact that not only are is our Children's Foundation providing economic literacy and art, but you're also teaching them which fork to use. I mean, if you're gonna sit at the table
Yes,
with
right.
people of power, you have to be able to sit at the table with people of power, you know, and that is very, very important. Explain to us what it means to not just be academically empowered, but also have the ability to go in different places and present yourself in a way that says you belong in this place. You know.
Well, in my opinion, it means that I am now confident. I believe as a child that I can get there and do what I have to do. When I know that my plan is to become a physical therapist, then I have no challenges when I step into that room to be interviewed.
Right.
Are you the one that we need for that school?
Right.
I can sell myself
Right.
because I have what it takes. And at the foundation, they are building this confidence and showing them that, you know what, you do belong here. And it means the world, because now I'm talking about our future.
Right.
I want our future to
Right.
be as positive as possible.
Right.
You know, with so much negativity
Right.
in the media and in the schools,
Right.
and they go to a place like our Children's Foundation,
Right.
and they're taught that you must be respectful, respectable.
Right.
I respect you, and you must respect me, and you must respect yourself. It's great. I love it. I don't have to worry about the discipline problems when I go there, like when I was working in the public school.
We got a couple of phone calls. We're gonna take a couple of questions. And I also want to say that the things that you're saying are not original to this table. That one of the most dynamic, earth-disturbing revolutionaries, Minister Khalid Abdul Muhammad, said himself, when you go into a place and you act like you belong, people treat you differently.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
It's your
They open the
confidence.
door.
It's your
That's a
confidence.
fact.
When
That's
you,
right.
When you present yourself as if you belong walking through this door,
That's right.
they get out the way and
That's
open
right.
the door.
Exactly.
But when they get the phones up, we'll take a couple of calls, see if we have a couple of questions we can share with the panel.
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'd like to make a quick comment.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say like this, that, you know, what people think, feel, and do every day is what they remember the most. So what I did was I used that to help a kindergarten kid, because his mother asked me to help him. I'm not a teacher. So what I did was, he was in kindergarten, so instead of teaching him like A, B, C, D 1 year, how to add 1 year, and then next year add him how to subtract and multiply, and the next year something else. What I did is I took all these things and added them up all together, and taught him how to read, write, and script and everything else in at one time. The way I did that was teaching him how to memorize a book. He was in kindergarten. I got a Robin Hood book, and I started using the first letter of that word from the book, and I taught him how to write it, how to say it, and repeat it, and I kept going like that. And the kid was able to read the whole page, kindergarten kid, the whole page of Robin Hood, and also write everything down in script. So this, I think, the technique that school uses to teach kids, I think it's wrong.
All right. I think they're showing something on the air. But before they bring the audio up, let's take this. We have another call. We're going to take this other call. Then because we're kind of running out of time. I'm a jerk. We're kind of running out of time, and we want to give you an opportunity to expound on the things that you were saying before.
How you doing there?
Hey, how you doing? Turn it up a little bit, or talk a little louder. I think
okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm talking in the phone.
Throw it out there, brother.
Okay.
All
I
right.
just want to say what's up, Matt, and hello to your guest.
We can barely hear that. We can
Okay.
barely hear that.
I want to say thank you to your guests and how are you and all that. And I really appreciate this forum of brainiacs who help the youth. I think it's amazing to have children's foundations like this. And also know about Sankofa, that I think is also an amazing school. And I wish there was more organizations like this. And my question to the panel, and I have, my question to you: what do you think? If we have more organizations like this opposed to charter schools, do you think that would be would that help the children? And also, I'm not so much in promoting. I may not promote my nieces and nephews after they graduate high school. I may not encourage them to go to college. I may not encourage them to go to college around the globe or whatnot, only because I want them to be entrepreneurs, something what Nat said, and what you guys are there, financial literacy. I really don't believe college is going to be available for my nieces and nephews in the future. And if it is, it's going to be astronomically priced. So my question to you, do you think it's important for children to be entrepreneurs or stay in a system that doesn't work for them? And also, do you think if you have more children's foundations like this that are fully funded, like ourselves, with our own money, that we can do a great change? Thank you so much. Hatepu, reinstate automatics. Be well.
All right, thank you. Okay, we have three very pertinent questions, and we have just enough time for you to really talk about it. The first one was it is a hot topic, the phenomenon of charter schools as opposed to public school, and what types of things are available. So your perspective on that. The second thing was the third thing was our ability to fund our own schools. The second thing was about college. The college has almost become a sophist type system. The Greeks had these things called sophists, where they traveled all around Greece and they charged rich people money to educate Greeks all around Greece. As a result, education became very, very elitist. They charged more and more and more money, and those people, those children of rich people who could afford the sophists, became the head politicians and the rulers. So it became so elitist that only the richest of the rich could afford to be educated by the sophists. Sophists from Sophia, which means wise man or something. And in a lot of ways, that is what college has become. It's become a system that is so cost prohibitive. We're talking about, we got a couple of calls. We're going to take the call. So those are the three questions that they asked about. He asked about college, how difficult that is, about charter schools, and about our capacity to educate our own children. Hold on to those three thoughts. Let me take these calls. They have to be really quick. I want to get everything out, and then I'm just not going to talk anymore.
Good evening, Brother Nat and your panel. I have a comment concerning, I think it's very important for us to teach our children, as they're coming up, the importance of our history, right? My question to the panel is that, do you think that African American, in particular, children would be more balanced if they were taught our history? And what are your thoughts on maybe us trying to really get our history into the school curriculum, because we are the only people that it seems as though that our history is not being told. And I think if our history is being told to our children as they're coming up, it will make a different people. Thank you, and I hope that you could all
right. So you got another one. You got the history. The historical aspect. If you got one more call, let's get it quick, because we have about 8 minutes, and I'm just going to let them talk.
Yeah, I want to make a quick
good
comment.
Afternoon.
Yeah, listen, I want to say, hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, I just want to say like this. You know, our kids, right? They're not going to go to Harvard, Yale.
Be
or,
quick. It
you
has
know,
to be a question. We're
Stanford,
running out of
one
time,
Ivy
and
League
I have to
colleges,
give them
and be able
an
to
opportunity
learn how
to
to write a
respond.
book. So what I did.
Yeah, no more comments, just questions. Pick somebody and address some of this stuff. I don't know if you'll be able to
Ron,
address
you want to
it
pick
all.
one?
I do the school, the college. I think.
The college, when you talk about the college, I think it is, I remember going to college and they had the SEAT program and all the other programs.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was, the cost was minimal. I mean, you didn't have it,
Right.
you know, so we were able, a lot of us at my age were able to go to college and we didn't have these fees that we have now.
Correct, correct,
And we were able to more of us were able to go to college. Now it's like, it's out of, the cost is so,
Right,
it's out of
Seems
hand.
like when black
So-
folks started
yeah,
going to college,
when we
it
begin,
became
when
a
more
bad
of us
thing. Right,
begin
right,
to
right.
avail of the college, then they began to heap all of these fees and make it, take it out of our hands, so we couldn't reach it because
Right.
too many of us were availing ourselves of and taking advantage of the opportunities of college. So now what do? And you talked about that earlier. When you raise the bar. So
Right.
now you can't take advantage of that. So yes, it has become that. Yes. So what we do, we need to create our own, begin to create our own, so we can
Right.
start to educate ourselves. So I agree. Yeah, let's start doing that. Let's start educating ourselves, educating our own, creating our own system where we don't have to worry about, you know, reaching and trying to get the little crumbs that they're
Right,
giving us.
right,
We don't need those crumbs. You know.
How difficult is it to get other people, especially people within our own community? I'm not even talking about the greater community, or the, well, greater is the wrong word, but the dominant community, the quote-unquote white community, the establishment community. I'm talking about within our own community. How difficult is it to get our own community to recognize the need to take a more hands-on approach to our children's education and provide opportunities and a vision that has not been provided?
You know, it's hard.
I think it is hard and complex, but we need to remember that wherever we are, someone did something to get us there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And many times it was our mothers doing days' work,
Right.
scrubbing other people's floors. Many times it was our fathers out there selling whatever it is they needed to sell, going out and having 5 jobs. So don't forget, because you are in this little office with a title,
Bring it
it's
back.
temporary.
Bring it back.
And we've seen that. So we've got to pool our resources. We're talking about all resources, the financial resources, the education that you have. Share it. I know I remember telling my son when he was going to school, because he got a scholarship to go to an elementary school, independent school, and I said, let me tell you something. You are to take what you're learning and always come back and teach your brothers and your sisters. And when you begin to teach your children that and you yourself believe it, then we're going to see different. So it may be a little difficult now, but it's not impossible. So all you brothers and sisters out there, whatever you have, you've got to reach one, and each one teach one, and we've got to go back and help. Remember Sankofa, we're not going anywhere if we don't go back and pull the others along with us.
Oh, I like the way you put that. And it's true. It's not a question of rebuilding the wheel. Somewhere along the line, we forgot where we put the blueprint.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, the fact of the matter is that so many of us now already, we're talking about how difficult college has become. The fact of the matter is, every year we'll get more minority graduating from college than ever before.
Right.
So what we need is that since we're getting more graduating, we need more of those to come back and be role model to our kids who are into our community. We need those going out there and like somehow bettering themselves, after they took advantage of the tool that we presented to them in our community, to go back and bring that back to our community, but not only bring what they receive, but bring what else they gain. You understand? And that's what we need. We need those that were able to make it to come back and basically help us to create more sources of opportunity for those coming behind them. You know, and when you talk about the history tells you, and that's why our Children's Foundation, one of the main things that when you come to our Children's Foundation, we breathe our history.
Oh, yes.
We breathe our history. How do we breathe our history? Because when you come to our Children's Foundation, the whole place is designed with all of those that came from our community, made a difference to change our history. I mean, we talk about Rosa Parks. Well, Rosa Parks came to our Children's Foundation. The house of Rosa Parks was visited by those children in our community in Harlem. How many people from any other community can say that? You just go about
Hampton.
Yeah. We talk about Lampton Hughes. We've been to his house.
Wow.
Everything that Lampton Hughes gave to the world, we have passed them to our kids. They just have to be exposed to that. And that's what we do. We understand that our past tells you why we are who we are now, but it also give us a guidance to who we're going to be in the future. Exactly. And that is what our Children's Foundation is.
Exactly. I got to start to wrap this up. We only have a minute. How do you get funding? Do you get funding from private sources, from government sources? How can people, if they wanted to, get involved? How would is this possible? How
if they want to give money?
Yeah.
We all jump at that.
Call the foundation, 212-316-7040. You can give, and we gladly appreciate it because we can do all the things. The state is funding us temporarily, but we need to fund our own.
We need to fund our own.
Repeat that number again.
Go online, look up Our Children's Foundation. It is there. You can get to the website. You can find out anything you want to find out about it and how to contribute, how to be a part of it, physically, financially, however, whatever you got to give. Help us do this thing.
We'll take it.
We'll see you again over the holidays. We'll see you again after the holiday. I thank you so much for coming in. The idea that you're talking about is a revolutionary precedent that's already been set. You couldn't be a Panther if you didn't.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Get your education
That's
thing,
right.
and you couldn't be a Young Lords either.
That's right.